Before I give my senior speech, I'd like to acknowledge my great luck in following up a speech about twins with a speech about twins. So here it goes. Mary Kate and Ashley Wilson. Fred and George Weasley. Tia and Tamara Mowry. The Minnesota Twins. While the probability of being a twin equates to a mere 1.1%, it seems like everywhere we look, they're twins. This appears heavily in the media, where twins are often portrayed as mischievous and sneaky. While I'd like to argue against this, it's actually spot on. I see my twin brother and myself as Dylan and Cole Sprouse from the hit Disney Channel show, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. In this program, two brothers live together in a hotel, and their shenanigans end up with them in trouble on a weekly basis. These antics, albeit childish, strengthen the bond they share as twins. My relationship with my twin brother Campbell is probably as strong as Zack and Cody's. So when we made the decision to go to different schools during junior year, some things would drastically change. I was somewhat prepared for this because 1 year prior, I took a major life experience on solo. 2 summers ago, I arrived in a rural agricultural village in the region of Bulaco, Nicaragua, to assist in teaching local children. The widely unpopular Sandinista government had recently erased the budget for teachers in remote villages. This action further alienated the children from students in larger cities, where schools have the necessary funding. When I arrived in the village, I was at a loss for words. Small mud huts scattered a landscape littered with piles of garbage. My preconceived idea of an effervescent jungle paradise quickly eroded. I felt so out of place, learning that my host family spoke exclusively Spanish, only boasted my solitude. The first few weeks were difficult, as I struggled to get accustomed to my new lifestyle. Appreciating that my teaching would be all some children would have for a year, I felt pressured to make every minute count. Growing up, teaching was a task reserved for trained professionals. So how was I supposed to educate these children in my broken Spanish? Even more importantly, how could I educate these kids at all? As my confidence was slipping, I found myself in the kitchen of a kind of Asian woman who I'd gotten to know quite well, as she was making loaves of bread. I began making the loaves differently, the Swedish style taught to me by my grandparents. Slowly, some of the students watched as I braided dough into wreaths. At the same time, I told them about my heritage, and how my great-grandfather immigrated from Colorado to Sweden at the age of 16, and how this braiding technique had been passed down for generations. The kids gathered around me and started braiding bread in my direction. I sat dumbstruck with what I had done. For the first time during my stay, I had successfully taught these kids. I was not only proud of myself, but had a newfound confidence that I carried along until my last day in the village. It was that moment of accidental teaching that gave me the confidence to teach more intentionally. In my final week, I wanted to do something more for my community. My plan was to find a creative solution to their trash problem. Throughout my stay, I witnessed instances where their litter could place them at risk of disease. While bathing in the river one morning, I saw an open bottle of pesticides float by me. Another consequence was that their livestock were ingesting fatal pests. One of the most beautiful places on earth was turning into a waste. I decided to start construction with a group of local teens and young adults to create a system of municipal dumps where trash would be placed in deep holes of a slanted hill and covered with a hinged piece of steel. In 1 week, this simple yet effective system was envied by the surrounding neighborhoods. My students and I went around on the last day and collected trash from the riverbanks to the edge of the forest and the backyards of homes. We returned to the newly built landfills with bags bursting with seams. I then showed the villagers how to dispose of garbage properly by placing a buffer of topsoil over the nearly full and compacted dump to prevent any fragments from getting out. When I hopped on the bus and left my host family and friends, I was met with bittersweet emotions. I developed great relationships with my family and students, and I would miss them dearly. Yet I realized that for the first time in my life, my actions could have positive repercussions and ripple out for generations. I did all this on my own and without the help of my twin. I didn't have my twin brother when we were apart. The experiences I have had on my own have greatly enriched my life, and are something I can share with Campbell, as he had had the same happen for him. All of us need a support network, but we also need to step out and try new experiences. So if I could give out some advice, it would be this. Don't let fears or doubts hold you back. If great opportunities are presented to you, take them. Because remember, as Cody Martin said, quitters never win and winners never quit.